Hello friends. Wow, it's been a minute since we've talked and so much has happened since then. But we'll talk about that later. For now, I want to focus a bit more on what the heck is happening right now. So if you read the thumbnail, you already know. If you read the thumbnail, today is a big day for me. My birthday was actually like 6 days ago, and I've been more excited for today than I was for my birthday because this has been a journey, 6 months in the making to get to this point. And so I thought, who better to share this moment with and take the next step than y'all who were here when this journey first officially started, if you guys saw episode 1 of the debt-free journey. So we are going to pay off my Amex credit card, which is the last credit card I have and the first debt in my debt snowball that we've been tackling. So I'm gonna do my financial tracker journey analytics budget spreadsheet real quick, and then we'll pay it. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I could have paid it when I woke up this morning, but I don't know, something in me feels surreal. Alright y'all, we went through the spreadsheet. We have American Express open, and we're now gonna pay the final balance. So my final balance is $2,251.65. I'll put the exact number on screen, but if you guys remember, we started at about 19,000 with interest actually rose to 20,000 by the end of February. So we are now ending July at 0. Okay, make payment, total balance, continue. This is so crazy. Okay, can you guys see this? I don't know. 3, 2, 1, submit. Eek. Okay, let me go home. We have a 0 remaining balance. Come a little closer. It is official. This is so crazy. It feels so good. I don't even think it's fully hit me yet, but I think once I hop off this camera and go to my spreadsheet and really punch in the numbers, it's gonna be crazy. But yeah, my plan is to go ahead and close that card. I have not used my credit card in 6 months. I've only used debit, and everything has been fine. I've even traveled to Rwanda and only used debit cards. So, and check out that's my last vlog. Check that out if you guys haven't seen it. But yeah, so that is paid off, you guys. And so I'm gonna close it next week because I just want to make sure like all the interest and everything has funneled through. In the past, when I paid off credit cards, like later interest pops up and stuff like that. So we'll wait to make sure everything goes through because I know the weekend may delay it a little bit, and we will close that. Eek. But yeah, I'm so excited that's done. But yeah, like I said, I'm about to go on my spreadsheet, update my numbers, and just have a ball with that. I'm actually also going to pay a little extra toward my next loan. I did budget to pay on that as well, and that is my 401k loan. But we are going to talk more about the rest of the journey coming up, as well as how I was able to even get to today a little bit later on in the video. So I will see you guys momentarily. Mic check. Hi guys. So this is 2 days later. Your girl hit her luteal phase on Friday, and yeah, that just took me out. So it is now Monday. I am finally at least at peace enough with myself to be able to shoot this. So let's get it. It's weird. I have roommates now, so I feel kind of weird about filming. So on to how I paid off these $20,000 in the span of 6 months. I think my exact starting amount, let me get these numbers pulled up for you guys. I just got back from work, so I'm a bit tired. Here we go. Okay, so the starting amount for my Amex was $19,891.19, but because of interest, it went up to $20,078 the next month. And I started this journey technically at the beginning of February is when I was supposed to start it in January, but February finally like really locked in and started taking it seriously. My interest in February was $400, so that's why the amount went up from the actual starting amount. It's just been a journey, guys. There's really 3 things that I did in order to expedite this debt payoff journey as much as possible without cutting too much into my time, because I am working full-time, getting my MBA part-time, and just other things going on in life. So I really wanted to find things that didn't burn me out right now. But we still have a long way to go in this journey, so we'll talk about that toward the end. But for now, I'm just like, I need some steady pacing. The first thing I focused on was really budget cuts. So of course going through my budget and seeing what could be cut. So one of the biggest areas that I cut was actually my beauty budget. So this was like getting my hair done, getting my nails done, pedicure, waxes, like those kind of things. I cut them at first with no real backup plan, but ended up really learning to DIY everything. So I ended up switching to shaving and learning how to do my own eyebrows and polishing my own nails and picking up nail polish. So I really replaced the beauty budget, which was could easily run me like $300. So that was one of the biggest budgets that I cut personally. Other than that, I did go through subscriptions and really see which subscriptions I actually needed. I ended up cutting my gym membership because my job has a free gym, so I didn't feel like I needed 2 gym memberships. And yeah, I just looked for different things within there that I'm like, okay, I don't need this, or I don't use this, or I don't need to have this. One of the things I did stop paying for was streaming services. I do account share, so there's some streaming services I do still have access to, but yeah, I just see like YouTube has free movies with ads, so if I like really want to watch a movie, I just look on there. Anyways, so highly recommend just going through and seeing what you can cut. That's one of the simplest ways to go ahead and slim down and open up your margin. So the next thing I did, as I mentioned, the Amex amount actually went up after the first month of me getting intense and focused because of how high the interest was. So something that I've learned that a lot of credit card companies have is a financial hardship program. And so this is something you can apply for that will pretty much make a payment. So it does make a certain payment that automatically will come out of your account based off of the information that you input into it, but it gives you a way lower interest rate. So I was able to get my interest rate down to 7.99%. I think before it was like 22%, something crazy like that. So I was able to get it down to 7.99, and then it just took a monthly payment of $393 out of my account every month automatically, and then I paid the extra on top of that. So that was a huge relief because that cut down so much on interest. I think in February my interest was $430. Then I joined the program and my interest went down to $128, and then as I kept paying it down, my interest went to $68, $62, $27, and then I paid it off after that. So yeah, that was a huge one. So if you're kind of struggling and you feel like you're paying so much in interest, see if your bank or credit card has a financial hardship program, because you can pretty much apply for it instantly. You typically do have to pay your first payment that day of, so just make sure that you have that payment amount, and it is over a certain span of time. So I think mine was a year, which was fine because I knew if I could get into this program, I could pay it off in 6 months, so I wouldn't have to worry about it ending. And then the last part of budget cuts is something I did not know was going to happen, but since I completely stopped using my credit cards 100% and only use debit and cash, I figured out a lot of people negotiate that I did not know negotiated. My energy bill, it was time for me to renew my energy, so I got like a new plan that they recommended, yada yada yada, and then the bill came and I was like, yeah, no. This is way too much. Like, I'm just paying way too much. Like, I just had that feeling in my gut. Like, I'm starting to really learn throughout this journey, like, if something feels like too much, it probably is. So I ended up going into chat. I put my statement from before and then my new statement in there, and it told me basically why it went up, and I said, okay, what do I say to them to get them to fix it? And so I was pretty much able to get them to revert me to a lower cost plan that would be better, more beneficial and effective for me. And not only that, but they gave me the money back on the bill that I had gotten. So those were some things that I probably wouldn't have done before. I probably would have just put it on my credit card and been like, whatever, forget about it. But now that I'm paying with cash, I definitely am willing to put a lot more. And it's not even a lot of effort, like a little bit more effort, and saving myself a lot of money. So that's one of the ways that I've really been able to cut costs as well that I was not expecting. The next thing that I've done is selling things on Facebook Marketplace. So for me, my house used to be an Airbnb, and then I shifted to moving in and getting roommates. So I did have a few spare furniture pieces that I needed to get rid of. I used to have a big, huge wardrobe back there that I needed to release, or that I needed to get rid of. And then I had a huge couch, which you guys could probably see, I don't know, it's probably in one of these videos, or if you're really OG it's in some video, but I had this big sectional couch that's just been following me since my first apartment that I've been trying to get rid of. And so And I had an extra bed as well because one of my roommates' rooms had 2 twins beds, so I wanted to sell one because she only needed one. So I finally got on Facebook Marketplace and posted all the items, and I've just always had great success on Facebook Marketplace. I think I started selling on there a few years ago after I moved out of my first apartment. I think I made like $700. So yeah, so this time I was like, let's get in. So I sold everything on Facebook Marketplace, made a pretty good amount, and so that's always one good thing to do, is to sell things. Like, look at things that you have. People are always willing to buy things for a good deal. I typically will negotiate as well if the item's not in too much of a high demand, but Facebook Marketplace has been really good for me. And then I'm looking at selling some smaller things too, so I'm probably going to post to Facebook Marketplace. I might also post on Depop. I used to sell on Depop in college, so I'm not sure if it's still a good place to sell, but I just like to use places where I already have good reviews, because then it's a bit easier for me to sell items. So I might sell some clothes, different things on Depop, but definitely look around, see if you have different things you can sell. I used to take things to consignment shops, but I feel like they don't pay out enough, so I kind of stopped going to consignment shops, but that's an option as well. And then the last thing, after cutting my budget and just selling things I don't need for just one-time extra cash opportunities, I knew I needed to increase my income some way, somehow, so I can gain extra money to put toward my debt so I can expedite this journey. So the first big thing I did, and if you guys followed the first few episodes of this series, you really kind of came along with me through that, was to get roommates for my house. So I have a 3-bedroom house that I purchased back in 2023, and I pretty much lived in it for I think about 6 months, and then I ended up moving back with my parents and putting it on Airbnb, and then Airbnb for me it's not stable enough for me. So I ended up moving back in, also because I was starting school, so I needed to be closer to town. So when I moved back in, I think I was probably here for maybe a good 6 months or so, and then I decided to go ahead and get roommates to increase that margin. And you just use these extra rooms that I never touch. So we were able to fill both rooms. My first roommate came in May, and then the second one came in June. So it's been about 3 months now, and everything's been good. But yeah, so that's been helping tremendously because it's very low effort on my part, but and also as a landlord sort of who also lives here, a lot of stuff that I do have to do is super easy because I'm already here. So that was beneficial. So I think probably out of everything, that's one of the biggest ways I was able to increase that, as well as just one of the probably the most effective things that didn't take too much time, because I was thinking of taking clients. If you guys did see the earlier episodes of the debt-free journey, then you saw I was like starting a client website so I can take clients again, but I just don't have time. Oh my god. So this was extremely helpful. So other ways in this 6 months that my income did increase was at work. I did have my annual review, so I did receive a raise as well as a bonus. So those were a huge payment that I completely just put toward my debt payoff, and then the raise was able to increase my margin a tiny bit. So moving on to what's next and why I am really focused on just urgency and getting this over with is because that was just number one, you guys. We still have a few more loans going on. So the next loan that we will be tackling is my 401k loan. This one will be a lot quicker because it was actually a smaller loan, and I had a minimum payment on it, so it actually did go down throughout this 6 months. I ended up paying the Amex first just because of how high the interest rate was, and then the required automatic payment. So now that frees up all the cash and stuff that was going to Amex to put into the 401k loan. So that is our next focus. I'm hoping to knock that out in the next 4 months would be ideal. So fingers crossed. With that being said, I'm gonna do the honors of telling you guys my current and starting balances of the remaining debts. So I know when I first started this series, I was really focused on everything, like including my house. So I'm gonna kind of steer away from the house debt and just focus on consumer debt, but I'll still tell you guys like the house stuff. But as far as this journey itself, I'm just focused on the house. All right, shall I do the honors? It's been a minute since I've done this, which we'll talk about also toward the end. So my Amex starting balance was $19,891.19. The current balance is $0. My 401k loan starting balance was $12,910.90, and then the current balance is $11,615.18, and that is what we are tackling next. My Chase loan was $22,478.76 and is currently at $19,677.14. That kind of wraps up my credit cards and loans, and then there's my student loans. So my undergrad loan is at about $15,959.17, and then my grad school loan, which I am still currently in grad school, so that amount is still technically gonna go up, but that's at $111,297.88. So that one's gonna be interesting, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And yeah, so that leaves my home loan, which was at about $304,695.09. I don't know why I keep saying about, because these numbers are actually accurate. And then the current balance is $302,730.17. So my my starting consumer debt was $182,000 work just fried my brain. $182,537.90, and then the remaining consumer debt is $158,549.37. My starting total debt was $487,232.99, and then my current total debt is $461,279.54. That was a mouthful. And so far, since starting this journey in February of 2026, we have paid off $25,953.45 of debt. Like I said, I'm pretty much doing the debt snowballs, so tackling the 401k loan next, and then I'm tackling the Chase loan. Those are going to free up actually a lot of margin, because both of those have minimum payments, and then all my student loans are deferred right now. So once those are complete, we're going to be tackling the grad school loan, undergrad loan first. And I just really hope my goal is to have all of these ones done within like the next 12 months. And then from there, the grad school loan, I'm just going to attack it. So I'll be done with school next May, so that's perfect. So I can start to take clients part-time, like whatever I need to do to just like attack that loan. So we are going to, you guys will come on that journey with me, maybe. Okay, so the last thing I want to leave you guys with is my fun YouTube schedule. Someone comments on my Instagram, they're like, where have you been? I don't know if they were talking about YouTube, but if they were, here we go. So YouTube, if you guys are familiar, or if you've seen the first video on this channel, I've been on YouTube since I was 15 years old. I'm now just turned 29 a couple weeks ago. So it's been a very long time, and I decided to take a step away from being a content creator in terms of like having a schedule where I post content every whenever. So I think what I wanted this channel to be was more so documenting just kind of important moments of my life. So obviously you guys saw the last video. I don't know why you would obviously have seen the last video. The last video was my Rwanda vlog, so that was just kind of like a really great, amazing experience that I had that I wanted to vlog and share with you guys, but also something I could look back on, and like my future kids could look back on, and all that kind of stuff. And then same thing with this journey. I feel like this journey is very pivotal, and I just want to kind of document it, but I don't want to put myself to a set schedule. So maybe I'll post whenever there's milestones. I'll definitely post whenever I pay something off. But I don't really have a regular cadence for this channel, because I don't necessarily have a goal with this channel. I just want to document certain moments in life that I feel like are important to me. And if you guys want to come along for the journey, if this is inspiring for you or motivational or anything, then that's why I'm here. But thank you guys so much for watching. It does kind of feel weird filming a YouTube video, but I don't know. This still feels like home, feels like natural. So I'll see you guys next time.